The one word that every Christian needs to have defined is what is the gospel. The gospel comes from the Greek word euangelion, which means good news. And this is very important because you hear news. You don't do news. You don't live news. Paul summarizes what the gospel is all about in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, where he says, "This news that I proclaim to you of chief importance is that Christ died according to the Scriptures, was buried, and on the third day rose again according to the Scriptures." What this means is, in the person and work of Jesus Christ, in His death, resurrection, and ascension, God has done everything you need in order to be pleasing before Him in Jesus Christ. There is nothing left for you to do for God, because Christ has done it all. This causes us then to ask the next question: why do anything at all? Paul sums this up in Romans chapter 12. If you remember the previous 11 chapters, he's laid out all of the wonderful things that Christ has done. He lays out for us the gospel. And then he says, "Therefore, in view of God's many mercies, offer yourself up as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual worship." Notice you are a living sacrifice. When we're off doing things for God, we actually think that we're functioning as an atoning sacrifice. But God doesn't need our good works. Our neighbor now does. And this is what it means to be a living sacrifice. We serve because we have already been served by Jesus Christ. And this is why I support the ministry of Let My People Go. Why it's actually so crucial is that because it understands that we're not doing things to receive love from God, but we are living our lives from the love of God, from the grace of God. And the powerful thing about this is that we begin to understand that as living sacrifices, God masks Himself in our lives. God is actually serving our neighbors through our lives. And this is so important. You are a living sacrifice. And so is Let My People Go. God could pluck people out of slavery, out of all sorts of things from the sky. But He chooses to use you, me, and ministries like Let My People Go as living sacrifices to serve the world until He comes again and indeed makes all things right.